Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome again to another Saturday edition of the Schwa Mill. What we do every Saturday at this time is we take a listen to your pronunciation files in American English pronunciation and try to give you some suggestions and feedback to help you achieve a more natural sound. We'll be talking about concepts like placement, stress, linking, intonation, all kinds of things. Just want to say hello really quick to Sponzy. Sponzy was one of our newer members of the Telegram group. Great to see you here. Saw you sent some audio, which is great. Emmanuel is here. Emmanuel actually joined us in a trial program. He was live on the stream today, early, like 4 in the morning at his time. It was great. It was great to see you, Emmanuel. Great to see you back, too. Hello to Shok. Shok was also checking out the stream last night, too, which is great. Hello to Tib. Thanks for stopping by once more. And hey to Justin. Justin was eager. Justin sent me one at 1 o'clock today, my time, and then again right now, which is great. We have a lot of pronunciation files today, so we're going to try to run through everybody. Also, just a heads up, if you're looking for a podcast audio version of the Schwa Mill, I have recently posted last week's episode. So if you go to fluentamerican.com/podcasts, and you're just looking for like just an audio version, because maybe you're driving or something like that. You don't want to be watching a video, or you're looking to save some of your data. Cool. Go to fluentamerican.com, check out the podcast tab, and you can see last week's episode. I'll have this week's episode after the stream at some point, hopefully by tomorrow at some point. Also, a real quick favor. So something that's going to happen is after this stream, I'm trying something out. So you guys can help me out and see if that's something, if this sounds like something you'd be interested in. I have another video coming out talking about breath and how to add even more breath to your speech. It's a concept that a lot of people have been asking me about. I already do have a video about breath, but this contains completely new techniques that I found that I think will be helpful for you if you're trying to not only have that low open placement, but also try to get more breath through. Because again, there's two main components. Placement's great, but the other component is also going to be making sure enough air is passing through your throat. So at the end of this stream, I have it linked. So we'll end the stream at 3 o'clock my time. It's about an hour and a half away. And then after that, I'm going to head over to the premiere. I will be there too. It's about a 7-minute video. So if you have an extra 7 minutes at 3 o'clock after the stream ends, I would love to see you in that next video. And we can talk a little bit about breath and techniques. And you can do them with me. And we can talk about if they're working or not working. So definitely check out that video. Emmanuel saying he likes the stream from yesterday, which is great. And Tib is excited about breath. Who's not excited about breath? Who doesn't want to add more breath to their speech? Now, maybe you're new to the stream, and if that's the case, great. Thank you for stopping by. We're totally interested in helping your pronunciation. Maybe you don't know what to do, though, so I want to make sure that you understand the steps. If you look at the video details, they will have a link that you can follow, but in case you can't see it there, here is the link that you need to go to. So if you want to send me some audio files to be checked, this is the link that you want to go to, and we will try to get through everybody. Yeah, so many people are interested. I'm like, oh my gosh. Originally, I think it was Alex. Alex had like 5 files, and I was like, I don't know if we're going to have time to do all 5. But anyways, let me show you what this looks like when you go to that link, so that way you know how to send in your files, in case this is your first time. And I'll put myself to the side. Okay, so what you see here, this is the Google Doc. This is our master file. So you can see we have everyone's files over here. I see Justin just sent us one. Okay, we'll have to vet that one in a moment, Justin. So we're going to try to get through all these files. Yeah, everyone's coming. Yeah, a lot of people. We're really building up today. Okay, cool. I'm excited. Hope you are. But these are the files we're going to look at. You can add your own. There is still time. It's up to Edward checking in again. Thanks. Good to see you, sir. So you will need to go to the directions at top. It says go to vocaroo.com. Once you are at vocaroo.com, this is pretty much what the site will look like. You may just see like a recorder button. You press that record button. Then what's going to happen is you'll record yourself. It will make a file that looks like this. You see this link? This is the link that everyone is sending me. So you take this link, go over here to our Google Doc, you put it here. If you want us to know your name, you can type your name. Let me know the words you're saying, because sometimes, sometimes we have audio issues. Sometimes we have comprehension issues. So maybe I'm misunderstanding and things like that. So those are all things to kind of be paying attention to. So I want to make sure I'm understanding everything you're saying. So put in the text. Things that are helpful for me. I would love to know what country you're from. It gives me an idea of just kind of background information for people. And if you have a question for me that you want to talk about, let me know here. So I see some people are asking about linking. Some people are asking about placements. People asking about the sound, which is cool. And then words that end with consonants. Yeah, it's a huge topic. We actually have a video that talks about that, which I think will be helpful. I'll try to reach out to that. Actually, I can show you really quick about that video. But basically, yeah, those are going to be the steps that you want to take to send us your files. In that way, we will be able to hear you. Just some quick hellos again. Hello to Maria. Maria has been checking out the channel recently. It's been great to see her. Great to see you at the live stream. And Ludwig, or is it Ludwig? Great to see you, sir. If you have questions and things, be sure to let us know. And again, that's our video coming up at 3 o'clock at the end of this stream. I hope you join me there. It'll be great to see you. But if you have an issue with consonant sounds, linking consonants onto your vowel sounds, your consonants are impacting your vowels, you want to look up this video here. Okay, it's like why I think short words are hardest in English. And it's going to talk about all different practice exercises you can do to link your vowels to your consonants in a way that sounds a little bit more natural. Okay. I think that's my whole spiel. If you guys have some other questions for me, be sure to let me know. But yeah, let me cut the share really quick. Oh, Rumez is checking in as well. Good to see you, miss. Okay. Edward mentions they're interested in intonation. Cool. We actually just made a video about intonation patterns too. It's aimed for beginners, but at the same time, I threw in a couple things that even advanced level speakers often struggle with. So I do hope you can check that out. It's one of our recent videos. I think that's everything from my end. If you guys think anything else I missed, be sure to let me know. But hey, you want to hear your pronunciation file, so let's get right to it.
Oh, let me add myself there, right? Again, it's not little, it's more little.
The G host was class.
Are you feeling that here, or here?
All right, I have changed. Maybe you didn't notice, but I've added some headphones. That way I'll be able to hear your pronunciation files as we go through this, because I will be sharing my audio and also sharing my screen. So that way you can see what I'm seeing and hear what I'm hearing. As we've been doing recently, I want to start today with a blitz round. Now, if you sent in files after I loaded these already, I'm sorry, you will not be included in our blitz, because I want to make sure that these files everything's okay. But we will try to get to your files as fast as we can. But I want to make sure everyone can leave with at least a little bit of feedback. So I'm going to listen to these files. I'm just going to kind of tell you just real quick reactions, and then we're going to move on. Okay, nothing too long or nothing too hardcore in terms of feedback, but at least something. So you can at least say, okay, Jeff heard me. Maybe didn't spend as much time with me as I would have liked, but he heard me. So let's take a listen to see what we got here. I'm just going to kind of go in order, starting from back here. And then after the blitz session, we'll then go into more hardcore feedback for everybody. Okay, starting with our first file.
Come live with me and be my love, and will the pleasures prove the valleys grows, hills and fields, woods or steppy mountain hills, and we'll sit above the rocks.
Okay. Hey, how about that? That's some pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff, Shok. Shok's trying to take the mantle of the singer away from the singer. I am convinced of that. So that's obviously a super long file. And it's also hard with singing too, because obviously the way people sing is different than the way people talk. I'm going to just focus on the very first part. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, right? Let's take a listen to the first part again.
Come live with me and be my love.
I'm just going to focus on that part again.
Come live with me and be my love.
You know, I don't have a whole lot of comments. I like a lot of what you're doing. I like your schwa sounds. So like come and love, I think those sound pretty good. I like your linking of sounds. I like your breath. The airflow is coming through very nicely.
Come live with me.
Like come live with, and then with the drop, and then me rising up again. I liked your E sound on me. That tends to be a sound that actually a lot of people kind of struggle with a bit. And I think you did that really well in maintaining that E and holding it, but also not sounding strained or high or tense. It's not me and more me. I thought that came through really well.
Come live with me and be my love.
Yeah. I can hear variations in pitch and things like that. There's lower pitches on your reductions. There's higher pitches on your stresses. In terms of things to change, for that start, I really like it. I think it comes off very strongly. I don't really have much else to say for a quick reaction. I thought that was pretty good. Thanks for sending that, Shok. Next up.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Okay.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
I think the big comment here for a quick reaction, I would say, is stress.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
When we come to it versus when we come to it. Okay.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
So I think that your will is really strong. What's up, Lydia? I'm glad you found us, miss. Great to see you.
We'll cross that bridge.
Will cross that bridge. So you're putting a lot of weight on will. In general, in English, you're not going to stress pronouns as much. That's not to say that's wrong, but I think in a more general context, it would be a little bit unexpected to put that stress there on will. Just a note.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
I also think that you're stressing too.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, come to it. Come to it. So that's going to be my real quick gut reaction just to things. I think you're stressing some words that I wasn't quite expecting. And that's having an impact on your rhythm. Like, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it versus we'll come to that bridge when we come to it. We'll cross that bridge. Actually, that's probably the more natural way. I think in this expression, the more natural stresses will be like, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I'll probably put the stress on cross and then on come, personally. Hopefully that makes sense. And we'll go more deep soon.
No pain, no gain. No pain, no gain.
Got some great variations. People give me longer phrases. Other people give me really short ones. And some people singing. Cool.
No pain, no gain.
My big comment here is going to be that A sound linking with the letter N. I think a lot of people... Actually, Emmanuel, we just talked about it. Emmanuel, I got some swag for our friends, by the way. If you are a fan of the singer, he's got some concert dates out, yo. Live at the Schwa Mill. Coming up to you. That's right. For sure, Maria. Going back to this, though.
No pain, no gain.
Do you hear that? Ain, pain, gain. Versus pain, gain. So I think your N sound is too strong, and I think your N sound is having an impact on your vowel, which is causing everything to kind of tense up and get closed off, so not as much air is coming through your throat. So instead of pain, gain, more pain, gain. Okay, weakening the N sounds, letting a little bit more air through on your vowels. Those would be initial thoughts for you. Next up.
What are you doing?
Oh my gosh.
What are you doing?
Whoa. Sorry. if your audio is as loud as mine. Oh my gosh. Let me just gonna tone that one down a little bit.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
All right, so we got some British English. Okay, cool. Not wrong, but I think that it's obviously British English is doing some things that in American English aren't quite as frequent, things like that. So just some little things. Sorry, sorry. um,
What are you doing?
doing versus doing. So I think, in general, American English a little bit, again, breath. If you're comparing American English to British English.
What are you doing?
Also a little bit stronger R. Yeah, I'm guessing that it's audio taken from a video, would be my guess. I don't think I'll get hit with a copyright.
What are you doing?
What are you versus what are? So you get versus R. So like that sound with the back of the tongue just a little higher, okay, and a little bit less aspirated. But at the same time, you do want a lot of air movements through your throat. Don't stop that. In fact, maybe even more air than you'll get in British English.
What are you doing?
And then do. Want to hear doing?
Doing.
Do versus do. So say do or do.
What are you doing?
And again, doing again.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Doing versus doing. And again, I think it's a lot about placement. I think in these British English examples, you're feeling it higher. Doing. It's just, I think it's more of a placement thing than anything. Up next.
Board members will need to come in from out of town.
Oh, I think you know what I'm going to say. I'll play that again.
Board members will need to come in from out of town.
Okay, town is way overstressed. Coming from out of town. So it's like it's just really jumping in super, super strong. Obviously, it doesn't need to be quite that emphasized. And that's the tricky thing with stress is it's very easy to understress. It's very easy to stress the wrong syllable, and it's also very easy to overstress. So it's this balancing act that we always need to be doing in order to achieve the most natural sound. So I totally get it. I think town's just a little too strong.
Board members will need to come in from out of town.
The other thing is we're going to talk about is the rhythm. It's like board member. It sounds like a song, right? Like kind of what I'm hearing.
Board members will need to come in from out of town.
Okay, so you got some musicality there, which I appreciate. But in terms of rhythms that you're going to hear in American English, I don't think you're going to hear a rhythm quite like this. It's too melodic in a lot of ways.
Board members will need to come.
It's like, okay, so I think the issue is probably too many stresses, which we'll talk about in more detail because you're giving me, it's like board members.
Board members will need to come in from out.
Wanted to come in from out of town. So you're giving me like 3 or 4 stresses there. Can we cut that down to like 2? Hey, like board members wanted to come in from out of town. Board members wanted to come in from out of town. It's like it all depends on what you want to emphasize in that specific sentence. But I think in its current form, you're giving me too many stresses, which is leading to that kind of like sing-songy-ish pattern. Okay, so I would say let's cut down some of those stresses.
The pot calling the kettle black.
Why the long pause?
The pot calling the kettle black.
The pot calling the kettle black. It's kind of similar to what I just mentioned. I think you too many stresses again.
The pot
Stress.
calling the kettle
Stress on calling.
black. The pot calling the kettle black.
The kettle black. So you have 3 stresses. Cut off 1. Probably don't need the stress on calling. That's just the pot calling the kettle black. Pot calling the kettle black. I think that would be a more natural rhythm. So I would cut off one of your stresses. I think that would be really helpful there. I would also eliminate that super long pause in your thought group.
The neighbor said she saw girls walking in and out of the house. Maybe she should have called someone, but she doesn't want to get involved.
Get involved. Pretty long one here.
The neighbor said she saw girls.
I want to just tackle this quick question. Do we always stress content words? No, it depends. Not every content word is going to get stressed. Content words are, it's always tricky with stress because it always depends on context. And I think that's kind of the tricky thing is that, how do we say this? With stress, because it's so dependent on context, in theory, anything could be stressed. A function word could be stressed. I could stress the. Like, Like I put it like, do you say? Nah, I can't even think of a good example. In theory, you can really any word could be stressed. Did you say on the table or in the table? Um, like, did you say on the table or off the table? No, on the table. In that case, I was stressed a preposition, right? So I think everything is entirely dependent on context. What you see with textbooks, textbooks are going to tell you that content words receive stress because, if you have a general situation, where nothing is known, where there is no context, it's a vacuum. Well, yeah, if you're trying to guess where the stress will be, most likely it's going to be on a content word. And if you're not sure what a content word is, content words are the words that carry the most information: nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. Okay. But just because we see a noun doesn't mean we're going to stress it. Just because we have a verb doesn't mean we're going to stress it. In fact, verbs very often are not stressed. Okay. This and that is always tricky too, because now you're also bringing in information about like new information versus old information. So in general, if something is old information, it's not going to be stressed. Like if I say like, oh, I saw a cat, that cat, in that case, that's probably not going to be stressed. But there's other situations like, we had a hard time securing enough money. That was the problem. So now I'm putting a lot of emphasis on that. So it really is so dependent on context. Okay. Oh no, saying I'm breaking up. Yeah. So hopefully it's a little clearer now. Not sure what's going on. My internet connection says it's okay. But again, it's probably dependent on context. If you're using this or that for old information, usually those sorts are not emphasized. But if it's new information or something you really want to focus on, then yeah, it's going to be receiving more emphasis, honestly. Okay. Cool. Everyone's saying it's okay. What's up, Alex? Thanks for checking in, man. Great to see you. So great things. Edward's mentioning interested in varieties of American English according to regions. Yeah, for sure. I think it's an interesting topic. I will say, for instance, for my speech, thanks for letting me know. For my speech, I'm coming from the East Coast. I'm coming from Philadelphia. I don't have a super heavy Philadelphia accent, but there are some little things that are different than, say, my wife who grew up in the Midwest of the United States. There are some little pronunciation differences, especially with regards to a couple of vowel sounds and things. It's interesting, too, because a lot of the traditional accents are changing just because people have moved around a lot. So the accents that were stereotypical of, 30, 40 years ago aren't exactly the same as they are now. But at the same time, new accent things are happening, like the sound, like in best or get, the way I would say those, is kind of starting to shift a little bit more towards an sound. I still think you need to be able to distinguish, between like, cat and like kept and things like that. But that's something that it's going to be curious to see what happens with that over the next 50, 100 years and things. Good to see you. It's been a while. Stress depends on what you want to say. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Like, I like you means something different than I like you, which means something different than I like you, which means something different than I like you, all those things can be different in the right situations. Entirely true. Great arguments. Yeah. If you guys have a particular region of the United States whose accent you are interested in, be sure to let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. Like, do you guys like New York accents? Do you like a Brooklyn accent and things like that? Or you like the Valley Girl maybe a little bit in like California? You can let me know. Or like try to get like some real big like vocal fry and things like that. But yeah, let's go back to your files. Sycamore, I think this is you.
The neighbor said she saw girls walking in and out of the house. Maybe she should have called someone, but she doesn't want to get involved.
If I'm just trying to pick one thing, there's a couple things we'll go into more detail soon. Short I sounds, so like involved, sense of e.
The neighbor said she saw girls walking.
Girls versus girls. I think this is a combination of the sound with the L. It's like I would practice like an exercise like this, like make myself a little bit bigger so you can see me. Nice. Okay. So again, if you have a hard time saying the word girls, again, I posted a video. I talked about a video earlier in the stream that talked about consonant sounds that I think would be really helpful with linking with vowels. But in case you just joined us, welcome. But let's talk really quick about how to say the word girls in a way that sounds natural. Most likely the issue that you're having is that your throat is closing off on the R sound or the L sounds. So maybe you're getting like girls, or maybe you're just not even pronouncing the R. It's very aspirate, so you're doing like girls, like things like that. Or it could be even the L sounds like girl, girls, things like that. Or it could even be the S where you're not getting it voiced, so you're saying girls as opposed to girls. You know, there's so many potential areas of concern with that word. But what I would say is, if you're having a hard time saying girls, thank you, Justin. That's right, man. Get that work in.
Let us know by liking and subscribing.
If you have a hard time saying girls, what I would say is, thanks for that. It's all about breath. It's the same thing. I always give the same advice, guys. It's the same thing over and over. So you need to make sure enough air is moving through your throat. So like start off just seeing if you can do er. And if you can't do that, then you've already identified the issue. You need to practice saying a lot. Okay? And again, make sure you're not doing and make sure you're not doing It's low placement, open throat. Okay? As you get more comfortable with that, see if you can do that 3 times. Can you do it faster? Okay? That's our goal. That's what we're trying to work for. Okay? Then see if you can link that with the L. It's like Earl. If you find you're doing Earl, or like Earl, you know, those are things you want to try to avoid. You want to try to get Earl. If that's hard, but you think you're doing okay, well then great. It means that you need to study your dark L. You need to study that sound. So again, the sound you want is like at the end is And some of you may be thinking that, well, there's an L, so I need to make some heavy contact with my tongue and the top of my mouth, because that's what teachers always told me. So like l, right? It's like Earl. But hey, the reality is that that's not true. Typically, if you see an L at the end of a word, what's going to happen? What's usually going to happen is you're going to end up with a dark L type sound. So you're going to get more What am I doing? The tip of my tongue is down against the bottom of my mouth. I'm not sure if you can see it. You can see back into my mouth a little bit. Do you know why? It's because my tongue is down. Front of my tongue is down. The mid back of my tongue is high. So that's our real goal there. Okay. And you want that for pretty much every word that's ending with an L, like girl, whirl, curl, but also like level, trouble, pull. You know, it's always the same thing with those L's at the end. So going back to our audio, I think the big thing is watch out for girl, watch out for the short I.
Walking in and out of the house.
Hear that on N, so it's not in and out, it's more in and out.
Maybe she should have called someone, but she doesn't want to get involved.
Involved versus involved. Yeah, so those would be the things I would identify there. I'm just trying to pick things really quick. Okay. We have another question here too. Let's see what we got. Teacher. Just a quick note on teacher. This is like, let me know, like, how do people refer to teachers in your country, in your first language? How do people, you know, if you have a teacher in high school, you know, how do you address your teacher? Do you use like your country's equivalent of like Mr. or like Miss or Mrs. Or do you normally say like teacher? Or I know like for instance in Italian, a lot of times it's like prof and like things like that. You know, how do you address teachers in your language? What's the equivalent in English? It'll be interesting to know. But in general, if you're in the U.S. and you're going to school, let's say you're going to elementary school. Probably for most of you, let's be realistic. Let's say you're in the U.S. and you have kids going to school. How do you talk to your kid's teacher? Well, a lot of times if you're talking to teachers below college, you're going to refer to them as Mr. or Mrs. For instance, my son just started preschool. My days are very different now because I took it over from during the day. But my son just started going to preschool. The name of his teacher is Miss Hamilton. It's like, actually, I guess it's Mrs. She's married. It's like Mrs. Hamilton. It's like Mr. or Mrs. Okay. Once you get to college, especially if your teacher has a doctorate degree, which many teachers in college do, in that case, then you would use doctor. So like Dr. Smith or Dr. Brown. Okay, that's the more common way to do it. Okay. Some teachers and some professors, they may want you to call them Dr. or Mr. or Mrs., but then they want you to use their first name. So for instance, like Mr. Jeff, or like Dr. Laura or things like that. And then other professors and things like that don't even care. You'll just be, hey, call me Joe. Call me Steve. Call me Jamal, Anyways, in my case, you can just call me Jeff. You don't have to call me teacher. That's a lot of students when they go to language centers in the U.S. they call their teachers teacher. But the more common way to address someone would be by their first name and things like that. Yeah, just kind of seeing what's going on here, Mr. or Mrs. Yeah, makes sense. Thanks for sharing that, Emmanuel. What's up, Zobeda? Zobeda, how do your students talk to you? Did they call you, hey, Miss Z? That's another popular way too, like Mr. or Mrs. and then the first letter of your last name. It's like, hey, Mr. G, or like, hey, Mr. A, or hey, whatever, Oh, Maria's getting super specific. Till the age of 10, we call teachers. Interesting. That's so like, I like that sense of closeness. I wonder if that's because, it just kind of it adds a level of kind of intimacy, especially which kids seem to appreciate. I like that. Talking about first names and patronymics. Cool. Mr. Miss Doctor. Got you. Yeah. Keep it coming. I'd love to know more of what's going on in your countries. I forget what there was a question attached to this. Should probably get to that too, right? Let's see. Is there any hint of finding out the ED will sound like an ET or ED? Yeah, there is. Most definitely, yes. It's all about what is the sound that comes before the ED. Okay? So if before the ED, the sound is voiced. It's like you're feeling vibration in your vocal cords. Like, for instance, like a D sound, like D. Actually, let's hold off on D's for a moment. If your sound is voiced, like a Z sound, or a G sound, or a B sound, these are all sounds voiced. Okay. If you're not sure what voiced means, what you can do is put your hands here, okay, and then do these two sounds for me. Do like an S sound, do like S, and then do a Z again, S and Z. When you do the S, notice that there's no movement. And when you do that Z, you feel that vibration, right? Okay. So that's what we mean by voiced. So if you have a word that ends with a voiced sound, then that means that your ED needs to be voiced too. So it needs to be D. It's like buzzed, rubbed, apologized. Just trying to think of some more words. Okay. Whereas if it's a voiceless sound, you're not getting any breath here or no vibration here, then it's going to be a T sound. So like bust or walked or pushed. And then of course, if a word ends on a D or a T, then usually it's going to be an id. It's like wanted or needed. Okay, so those will sound like ids. Hopefully that answered your questionnaire. It's a good one. It's a super common one, super helpful one. Thanks for asking that. How do we cause a bit? It depends on calling my miss. Okay, makes sense. And they call you teacher. Got you. Miss Aunt. I love like the names. Like for instance, for some reason, my son calls my dad, his grandfather. He calls my dad Poopa, but we have no idea. Like we have no idea where that came from. Poopa's not really. Poopa's like a larva stage of like an insect. I have no idea why I call them Poopa. Kids are great at just making names up. Like when I was a much younger, apparently I called my grandma like Grum because I couldn't say grandma. I love how creative kids are with language. Anyways, what was I talking about? Sometimes I get distracted. Cool, Alex, I'm glad that I found that feedback helpful. Thanks for letting me know. Appreciate it. Of course, if you have some more questions, let me know. Keep them coming.
This is a temporary parking for taking only around 15 minutes. Our parking garage is next door. If your room is not ready, they can store your bags.
Yeah, to me the volumes are a little bit low there. Oh no, Emmanuel, I'm so sorry to hear that. Restart the router. See if that helps. But I totally understand. I'm sorry to hear that though. Mayo's like our MVP. He's always here.
This is a temporary parking for check-in only around.
I think that the volumes here is a little bit low, so I want to be a little bit fast with this feedback. But I think the biggest thing is going to be pitches because everything is kind of staying very closed. Let's do a first couple seconds to show.
This is a temporary parking for.
This is a temporary parking. This is a temporary parking. Versus like this is a temporary parking. This is a temporary parking. I would see, can you expand your range just a little bit? Because we're so closed off. And it might feel unnatural because you're not used to doing that. And that's okay. I think a great example is, if you do shadowing, I would try to shadow an actor who you feel uses a wide range of pitches. They have a really high high and a really low low. So I would try to, like, people that are really exaggerate, and I would really try to capture them, try to get their highs, try to get their lows, Another example is, like, for instance, to take a word and try to add some emotion to it. Like, for instance, a word like wow. Can you do like, wow? Notice that I'm starting really high and I'm going really low. Wow. Like, you see something crazy, you'll hear people doing that. Wow. You can even add other words to it, like, wow, that's great. Wow, that's great. So I would really try to practice exercises like that to expand it. And it's hard because it's going to feel unnatural to you and it's going to feel exaggerated to you, and be like, oh, people don't even talk like this. But the reality is that what feels exaggerated to you, to a native speaker, is going to sound way more natural. I'll be honest. If it feels strange to you, in a lot of ways, that's kind of a good thing because that's a sign that we're doing something really different. So that's really going to be my big piece of advice for this file. I'll be honest. Thanks for saying that. I hope that makes sense. We'll give more detailed feedback in a moment, hopefully. Quick thing from YJ. YJ, thanks for joining us. It's great to see you. Like the cat. Kids are native speakers of English. They don't know what's the schwa. Can you explain? If they don't know what the schwa is, ask them. Ask them like a really hard question. Ask them what the schwa is. Be like, hey guys, do you know what the schwa is? And if they're like, no, then you can be like, hey, you just made it. Try to catch them the next time that they say, and then be like, hey, look, you made another schwa. Because that's pretty much the sound you're going for. But if you're looking for something more technical, you give them examples of words. So for instance, like a word like what has a schwa sound. A word like was is your schwa sound. If you're trying to explain mouth position, you'd be like, oh, like it's a sound you make when you're in a neutral expression. So like when you're not, your face is not smiling or laughing or anything like that. Just in a neutral expression. What you're also doing is you're opening your lips just a little bit, and just kind of just that natural sound that comes out, just that, especially when you're projecting from down here. But yeah, I would really be paying attention to the next time they say that's what I would be targeting, honestly. Hopefully that makes sense. That's great that they're native speakers. Are you located in like North America or in a place that speaks English? Edward. If I were to acquire an American accent, which one would you recommend? I'm very biased. I'm from the East Coast. I love accents. I'm not. It's tricky. I mean, if you're looking for something that is universally, quote unquote, accepted without comment, like people don't say anything about it. I mean, the Midwestern accent. You go to like Ohio, any of your Midwestern states like Wisconsin, Illinois, except for Chicago. Chicago's in the Midwest, but Chicago's a very distinct. Chicago like is a lot harsher, versus other accents tend to be a little bit more open. Okay. Yeah, that's a great question. The Midwest is the one that is quote unquote used as the standard, but I don't know. I'm partial to. I like the Brooklyn accent a lot. I can't really do it, but I think it's interesting. Give you some of that regional flavor. We were actually in Brooklyn not that long ago, and it's still very much alive. Yeah. Other questions. We're practicing speaking skills. Hey, that's a great question. If you are interested purely in speaking, there's actually an app I want to show you. I actually made a video about this app a while ago, but I think it's like one of my favorite speaking sites that I found. And I think if you're watching this video with me, oh my gosh, I don't want to lose where I am. Can I rename this? I'll do this. Give me a second. I don't want to lose anything. Okay. Cool. So if you are interested in speaking, you want to go to this site right here. It's called Yoodli.ai. Emmanuel asks about Pacific Northwest. I would say it's a relatively neutral. I mean, there are some regional things particular to it, but I would say in general it's pretty neutral. It's hard because so many people have been moving that way relatively recently, like Seattle, Portland area. But anyway, so this is it. It says app, but it's really just a website. They actually reach out to me. I need to get in touch with them again. But I think you're really gonna like this site if you're trying to practice speaking. This site's great. You're gonna love it. Hang on, bear with me, guys. Like what you're hearing? Let us know by liking and. Okay, so you make an account. This is what you see, and if you go to the top right. You see different topics. So you see speech, interview. For those of you who are preparing for things like IELTS, this website is a gold mine. You're going to love this. Okay, so I click speech. And I'm not sure what to talk about, so I'm going to do a prompt. So if you're just trying to use this for speaking practice and you don't have anything that you particularly need to practice, I would do the prompt. You can set your time for whatever. I'll just do like the 1 minute thing. In terms of settings, these are the different settings that you'll see. Okay. I would also encourage you to do the webcam option. Okay. I don't because I need my camera, but you want to see what your body's doing when you're talking because I know it's awkward the first couple times you do it if you're not used to recording yourself, but you might notice that, oh my gosh, every time I talk, like my mouth, like my head goes crazy or my hands go crazy and things like that. Kind of nice to be aware of that, So I would encourage you to do that option, especially when you're nervous and things like that. Sometimes you know what your tendencies are. But so I'm going to do the start. Gives you 3 seconds of fear. And then, yeah, look at that. It's just going to start recording and you're going to see it has a timer. And again, it gives you the topic up top. So in theory, I'm supposed to talk about being self-employed or just employed. One is better. So in theory, you're supposed to talk about that for a length of time. And I need this to go for 30 seconds because after 30 seconds, there's something that's really, really cool that I think you guys are going to like. Once it expires, we're almost there. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop it there. Okay. So I'm going to do it. So now that has 30 seconds of data. It has this view analysis button. And this is so cool. I don't know how this site is free. This site should not be free. So it makes a transcript of everything you just said. And if you had the video, if you used your webcam, it'll also have the video of yourself. And the cool thing is that in addition to other cool things, is as you do it, and then, yeah, look at that. It's just going to start recording. And notice that it tracks you for where you talked. And this is also a great pronunciation tool, too, because I'll be honest, this transcript tool is actually pretty good. It's pretty accurate. It got everything I said. Trying to see if there's anything wrong. Yeah, it looks like in terms of spelling and words and things like that, it looks pretty good. Let me see. Apparently you can share your speech with your friends. All right. But in addition to that, it gets better. Justin, I know. But it gets better. Justin gets it. Thank you, Justin. He understands how cool this is. Guys, when I was studying languages, we didn't have stuff like this in school. I wish I had this stuff in college. You guys are so lucky. Anyways, so it gives you different things. It's designed for native speakers, okay? So it's really trying to give analysis that would be helpful to natives, just a note. But it'll help identify filler words like or Thank you, YouTube user. What a great username. I like the picture. That's a picture of a YouTube user right there. Cool. Weak words. So trying to cut out words like this from your speech. Yep. It'll let you know your pacing. Keep in mind, this is talking about for like speeches and things like that. You know. It also identifies, key words that you've used in your speech and how often in terms of frequency. If you repeated words, it'll let you know. Really, really cool. Really, really cool. Really, really
look
cool.
at that.
I think you guys are going to like. And it also, stamps it so you can find it. Okay. Also lets you know about your loudness and your pauses. Do keep in mind timer. And again, it gives you the top. You can really hear that pause there. Yeah, so this is so many cool features. Again, designed for native speakers, but I think if you're practicing like task 2s and things like that, do it, man. Get using this. Yeah, this site's, I think if you're looking for just purely speaking practice, but also pronunciation too, because you can identify and kind of see. Yes, AI is definitely taking over. Have you guys heard of DALL-E? Anyone here heard of DALL-E? Anyone? Like the program? There's other ones too. Let me know. But guys, it gets even better. Oh my gosh. I'm not being paid by them. They're a free app. Okay. I'm not being paid by them. Let me know in the comments if you've heard of DALL-E. If you go to, let me go back to the page. If I go to practice and I go to the fun topic. Okay. And I see some people have posted great questions. I'll be there in a moment. If you really want to push yourself, I would say you can do the no filler one. So that's trying to talk without using like ums and uhs, which I think is great practice. But I really like spin the yarn. If you want to challenge yourself, this is a great game. So I'm going to do 1 minute. So it's going to give you a topic. So I need to describe the perfect Sunday. But then as it's talking, it gives me words I need to include. So for instance, the perfect Sunday, the temperature is going to be like, 80 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to grab like a fistful of flowers from my yard to give to my wife. Maybe as I'm walking down the street, I'll see a farmer driving a tractor because random reasons, or maybe even so as it's going, let's look at all these words I need to try to incorporate into my speech. So if you're trying to push yourself and speak spontaneously on things you're not prepared for, that's this is the thing for you. Anyways, I love that app. That app is great. Try it out. Let me know what your experience is. I think you'll have a lot of fun. Yeah, it's one of my favorite sites. Again, Yoodli. If you just Google Yoodli, you'll find it too. I know I missed a bunch of questions and things. Hope you guys like that. Smazi, cool. Yeah, there is Wally. This is actually DALL-E. Like, I think making fun of like Dali, like the Spanish painter. But people liking that site, which is cool. There were other questions. I know. Amazing. Glad people like the site. Yeah, give it up to the Yoodli team because they did a thing. And it was really cool. So I would practice that. Going back to your question, Spazzy, but also shadowing. Yeah, I mean shadowing I think is great, but I think in terms of shadowing, my recommendation is don't shadow an entire movie. Shadow like a 1 minute section of a movie. And as you're shadowing, target different things. So like for instance, maybe on Monday, shadow a 1 minute clip of a movie and focus on pitches. Be like, okay, I'm going to really try to get the same pitches as the speaker and reuse that same 1 minute clip over and over again, like maybe 5 times, 6 times. Then on Tuesday, use that same clip and now maybe focus on intonation. Be like, okay, I want to make sure my intonation is good. On Wednesday, use that same clip, focus on stress, targeting different things each time. Those would be things I would really recommend. Going to move down the comments really quick. Losing the accent is not really doable. I don't know. I think I personally, I would put myself on the more optimistic side than the pessimistic. I think that if you can really master airflow and if you can master breath, I think it makes a huge difference. Riddick, if you're here, it would be great. I know that you sent me some pronunciation files on Telegram. I would really love to use those examples that you sent me because I heard a really big difference. But I don't know. I'm definitely more optimistic. I think that if you have enough breath and you're able to keep your placement consistently low, I think that you can make real big gains in American English. And I think if you're studying other languages, if you can find out what the placement is, and if you can find out what the breath, how closed it is, I think you can make really impressive gains relatively quickly in any language. But it's just trying to get that consistency. And this kind of gets to this question as well. I have students that I'm pretty happy with their progress. Does that mean they're sounding American 100% of the time, all the time? No. But I think there are times when they're speaking consistently, and I think that they could, give a very good impression to native speakers in the right amounts of time. I don't know. Again, I trend more optimistic. Can you say fully? Fully? Is that okay? Fully. So make sure you can start off just saying full correctly with enough air coming through. Full. And then see if you can link that to the E. It's like Lee. Can you say Lee? Just like L-E-E or L-Y with the tip of your tongue pressed against the bottom of your mouth. Lee. I don't know. I'll open my mouth more to see if you can see that. Lee. Notice that my tongue's staying down the entire time. Lee. Fully. So the issue is probably either the full sound or the issue is the lay sound. I would try to identify which one it is and then target that with just lots of repetitive drills. Other things. Question. What's the difference between right and entitlement? I think right has more of a sense of I think, first of all, these are synonyms, but I think right is something that when you think of rights, you think of things that are given to people just either due to human nature or also by government law types of things. For instance, in the U.S., there's the right to free speech. So the government has granted to people the ability to use free speech. Entitlement means almost like the sense of like deserving something. A common phrase like you're entitled to your opinion. That's a relatively common use of the word entitlement. Okay. Entitlement or entitled can also have negative connotations, like almost like arrogance or like just like assumptions that things belong to you even if they don't. I would try to find like 5 examples of the word right and 5 examples of the word entitlement and compare them. Another question. It's a good one. It's important to sound as natural as possible. You think it's bad I think it all depends on your goals. Why are you learning an accent? Why are you studying pronunciation? If you live in a location and you're never interacting with, people from North America, why do you need an American accent? In some ways it might be a hindrance. People might understand you less because some people don't understand American accents, So what's the point there? But if you're in North America and you're trying to get like promoted and stuff like that, or you're trying to leave a certain impression on people, well, suddenly, pronunciation and accent become a lot more important to your daily life and how far you can go. The example I always give is, people don't like the idea of critiquing accents. My brother, when he tells people what I do for a living, I get attacked all the time. My brother's friends are like, "Oh my gosh, your brother is so horrible. There's nothing wrong with accents. He shouldn't do that." And I agree. I think accents are beautiful. I don't have an issue with accents. I understand accents better than most Americans do. I talk to more people with accents than most Americans do. I have more interactions with people with accents than most Americans do. I would love to not have this job. I shouldn't have this job. But let's also not deny the other facts, right? There are people who have missed out on jobs because of their pronunciation. There are people who have had meetings with their boss, and their boss said, "Hey, we like your work, but we need you to change your English." That these are realities that I'm not making these up. These are stories that students come to me with. So I think you need to identify your context and your goals. I don't think accent training is for everybody. The other group, though, and this kind of falls into, especially now when I was studying Italian more hardcore. But some people just really like the challenge. So where are my perfectionists at? Are you a perfectionist? Would you describe yourself as a perfectionist? Let me know in the chat box, because I am. I don't just want to personally speak the language. I have just intrinsic, internal motivation to just do it as good as I can, because that's how I am about everything. If I do something, I want to do it the best that I possibly can. So I just have a natural drive to speak, as best as I can. And I think a lot of people, I imagine if you're watching my channel, that to a degree also kind of captures what you're after too, because there's lots of other pronunciation channels out there where, their goal is more about like kind of, making you feel comfortable with your accent. Like, oh yeah, don't worry, like an accent's not, let's make you feel like just confident and special in English, and that's cool, but I'm more of the perfectionist game. Like if you want to really understand, like, hey, I just want to sound as natural as possible. That's kind of more the thing that I'm interested in. Like, hey, let's do it. Edo asks this question too. Any tricks to pronounce the short sound? So that short I. Yeah, just some general tips you want to be aware of. Of course, besides placement, so you want it to be low and open, right? That's the sound goal. But the sides of your tongue, make sure they're touching your top teeth, so it's almost like you're biting the sides of your tongue. The very, very back of your tongue needs to be down. The mid back of your tongue needs to be a little bit up, and the front of your tongue needs to be down. Okay. As you get more comfortable pronouncing that sound, the issue that you may run into is that linking to consonants is actually the problem. So maybe you say great, but maybe you say een. But again, it's more and. So I would really try to break up words in that sort of way, like and. In patterns like that. Or for instance, like linking short I's to L's tends to be hard, like ill. It's like ill. I would say that, I would record it, I would listen to it, and make sure that my vowel doesn't change. If I'm saying like ew, well, that's a sign that, hey, I'm not quite doing the right thing. I'm changing my sound, like ew versus ill. So watching out for that as well. Great question. YouTube user is a 17-year-old native Russian speaker. If you go by the research and things like that, what it would suggest is that you are still in that age range where it's possible to achieve a pretty natural accent. If you go by the traditional language theories. Again, I trend more optimistic. I think that adults can make pretty significant gains in pronunciation. But if you look at what other people are saying, I think you still fall in that range where a natural accent is still very possible. For a lot of people, that kind of closes off right around like 20, 22 years old. I know, right? Yes, people are critiquing me. They don't understand. I think a lot of people don't have, at least in the U.S., a lot of people don't have the experience of really taking learning a second language seriously. They did it in high school, but nothing major. So I think a lot of people, if you haven't really pushed yourself to learn a language, I think a lot of people don't really understand. Yeah. Justin also confirming that. Yes, more perfectionists. Yes, embrace the dark side. Yes. Z brings up a great point. I really like this point. So native speakers, yeah, look at news anchors. If you listen to people on the news, or if you ever fly in the U.S., if you ever go on an airplane, do you ever wonder why news anchors all sound the same, or why flight attendants all sound the same? I mean, they literally go to like broadcasting school or different speaking schools. If you're in radio, usually you go to broadcasting school. They teach you the intonation patterns. They teach you the patterns for speech. That's why they all sound the same, no matter what part of the country you go in. Yeah. Don't feel ashamed to, no one should ever feel ashamed of their accent. There's no shame in showing where you're from. It's okay to acknowledge that you have an accent, but I don't want anyone here feeling ashamed. I know that's easier said than done. I was actually having this discussion yesterday about, or in the chat, in the community tab, talking about, do you feel comfortable? A lot of people don't feel comfortable even talking to people from their own country in English because of things related to judgment. Yeah, I think that's a reality. Because I like it. Passion. Yeah. In general, hey, any language you learn, if you are passionate about it, you are already ahead of like millions of other people, because the passionate learner who is just genuinely interested in the subject is always going to go farther than someone that's doing it for money. What else we can remember, like Americans, like how I want people to correct my name. Yeah, for sure. I like that, what you brought up with the name aspect as well. Yeah. Justin's reaching out to YouTube user. Make sure you see that. I send you hard to learn British or American. You're asking in American. So for me, it would be harder to do British. I don't know. The way I would see it is that a lot of people have British training in school. British seems to still be kind of the de facto language used in a lot of schools in Europe and worldwide. Not all schools, but a lot of them. So a lot of people have studied that. Or a collection of British English mixed with their first language, English. Yeah. I just say not to sound him. I think that's also a lot of people, like, it's always interesting hearing Americans talking Italian because the accents are always so heavy. Always so heavy. So thinking somehow I didn't get a promotion because this is a reality. This is a reality. People are losing jobs or missing out on jobs because of these things. Fact. I wish that weren't the case. Like I said, I don't. It would be a better world if I didn't have to do this work, you know? All right. We have some... yeah, guys, let me know your opinions. What's harder, British or American? Put that in the chat. It'd be great to know. Would love to know your thoughts. But I want to try to finish our Blitz. We didn't finish our Blitz round yet. Oh, my gosh. But I want everyone to leave at least with one piece of feedback that they can work on. Start with this one here again.
This is a temporary parking for checking all your...
Yeah, I think this is the one we mentioned, right, with pitches. Just trying to expand that pitch range. Okay, because this is a temporary parking. This is a temporary parking. You know, just notice how different that already sounds. If I stress this is a temporary parking. This is a temporary parking. Or this is a temporary parking. This is temporary parking. You know, just having one word that receives way more emphasis and speaks higher, you know, has a slightly higher pitch to show it's stressed, makes a huge difference for clarity.
This is a temporary parking.
The other thing I would take a look at R sounds. Your R sounds are very dominant.
This is a temporary parking.
Especially on temporary. I would try to say temporary parking. Temporary parking. Okay? Because right now your R sounds are just so dominant. They're really taking over. It's like temporary parking versus temporary parking. Temporary parking. You know, so just kind of watch out for that. Try to open things up more. I do notice audio file is a bit low. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to move on. But hopefully that gives you things to consider there. Okay. Our next file.
I mean, there were some mistakes here and there, but it's not the end of the world.
This is Emmanuel.
I mean, there were some mistakes here and there, but it's not the end of the world.
I think two big pieces of advice.
I mean, there were some mistakes here and there, but
here and there, there were some mistakes here and there.
I mean, there were some mistakes here and there, but
here and there, the here and there part gets a little bit muddy. Here and there, here and there.
There were some mistakes here and there, but
here and there, here and there. There were some mistakes here and there.
I mean, there were some mistakes here and there, but it's not
there, but
mistakes here and there, but it's not.
But it's I think that's why.
Mistakes here and there, but it's not the end.
But it's there, but it's there, but it's. I think that's the bigger issue. It's that part right there. There, but it's there, but it's there, but it's.
Mistakes here and there, but it's not.
There, but it's everything's at the same pitch. There, but it's there, but it's. There were some mistakes here and there, but it's. Can you go lower on the but it's? But it's. There were some mistakes here and there, but it's. There were some mistakes here and there, but it's. There were some mistakes here and there, but it's. You know, I think just having that little section of the but it's a little bit at a lower pitch would have really helped with the clarity.
I mean, there were some mistakes here and there, but
because that first part, you know, in terms of breath and airflow, is very similar to the other part, but there's way more contrast.
I mean, there were some mistakes.
I mean, there were some mistakes, you know, so like there's so much more movement at that section that doesn't happen in the middle.
On there, but it's not the end of the world.
But it's not the end of the world. So it's that middle section. Just add some more contrast there. That would have made a big difference. I would also study a little bit the word world. So it's not world, it's more world.
But it's not the end of the world.
World, world versus world, world. Can you open your mouth wider? World, world, world. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. I think a little bit more breath coming through because it kind of closes off there on the LD. World. Okay. Manuel, thanks for that. If we have time, I'll try to give some more detailed feedback, but I think that gives you some initial things to chew on.
I can't believe you still use an iPhone 6. That's ancient.
Okay, very first thing I'm going to say is ancient. Ancient.
I can't believe you still use an iPhone 6. That's ancient.
Okay, ancient, ain. And this is that same ain sound we see like in a word like pain. Okay, so I would like you to practice. I would use like ain, ancient, ain, ancient. I would try to just go like, I would do this progression. A, ain, ancient, A, ain, ancient, A, ain, ancient, A, ain, ancient. I would practice that a lot and make sure that the A sound is the same for all three. If you ever hear a change, you need to modify that and try to find out, is it changing on the A, is it changing on the ain, or is it changing on the ancient? Which one is causing that difference? Okay.
iPhone 6. That's ancient.
So ancient. The other thing too is that it sounds to me like, and I could be way off, but I'm guessing Mandarin is first
Still use
language.
an iPhone 6. That's ancient.
Ancient. Stressed. The syllable stress.
Believe you still use an iPhone 6. That's ancient.
Ancient. Both syllables right now you're putting a lot of weight on. You're putting a lot of weight on the A, and then you're also putting a lot of weight on the chint. But the reality is that ancient, the stress is on the A sound, the ain. So we want that chint sound to be way weaker. Almost like whispering, like ancient, ancient. I would practice saying that like ancient, 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 ancient. Notice also too that second syllable is way faster. Something that I see a lot, and again, I apologize if I'm completely getting the language wrong, but even if there are Mandarin speakers here, that was going to be helpful. You know, the way Mandarin works is each syllable is pronounced with relatively equal weight. Okay, so you want to make sure that when you go into English, that is not the case. In English, in American English, you know, stressed syllables are going to be longer and stronger. Unstressed syllables are going to be weaker and reduced. So you want to really make sure that is carrying over. So it's not ancient, it's ancient, ancient. Really try to weaken those second syllables or those unstressed syllables. It's going to have a huge impact on your sound.
I can't believe.
I can't believe. Again, you're adding a lot of stress. I can't believe versus I can't believe or I can't believe. Choose a stress. Instead of stressing everything, try to just pick like one or two words to stress.
You still use an iPhone 6.
You still use an iPhone 6. I can't believe you still use an iPhone 6. I would have had two stresses there. I can't believe you still use an iPhone 6. Or I can't believe you still use an iPhone 6. Two stresses, not so many. So try to cut down on some of those stresses. Hey guys, let me know. My connection, it says that it's a little bit weak for the moment. Hopefully that comes back. Let me know if the connection is coming okay for you or if it's a little choppy. I would appreciate that.
That's ancient.
Yeah, but I think a lot of feedback there for that. Hopefully that is helpful. Our next one.
There are clouds on the horizon.
Oh, that's it. I was expecting way more. Okay, let me play again.
There are clouds on the horizon.
There are clouds on the horizon. Okay. Oh, man. Pixelated. Sorry. Hopefully the audio came in. Was the audio okay? Let me know that. It says it's better now, so hopefully it was just a little spike.
There are clouds on the horizon.
There are clouds on the horizon. There are clouds on the horizon. The clouds on the horizon. I would really reduce the on the. Okay, as long as the audio is good. The audio is more important than the video. Although I would love if you guys could see my face. But The audio is obviously the more important thing.
There are clouds on the horizon.
There are clouds on the horizon. There are clouds on the horizon. You know, actually, you know, I would do one stress. Too many stresses. There are clouds on the horizon.
There are clouds on the horizon.
Yeah, there are clouds on the horizon. I would just stress clouds.
There are clouds on the horizon.
On the horizon versus on the horizon. It's like, again, clouds on the horizon. Clouds on the horizon. There are clouds on the horizon. I think that's going to give you a more natural flow. Because right now, it's like clouds on the horizon. The other thing, too.
There are clouds on the horizon.
Yeah, I think that's the major thing. I would cut off that stress on horizon. Because I think that's giving you a less natural rhythm, in all honesty. Okay. Thank you guys for letting me know about the quality of the stream. I appreciate that. Next up.
Excuse me. Do you guys?
It caught me off guard. Oh, this audio is super clear. I was like, who's right next to me? Oh my gosh.
Excuse me. Do you guys live around here? Do you know which way the nearest bank is?
Do you know which? Oh, watch out for that short eye on which.
Do you know which way the?
Do you know which? Do you know which? Do you know which?
Do you know which way?
Which way versus which way? Now, I think for the most part, you're really getting lots of air through, and I think you're really trying to, your placement in general is pretty low and open, which is great. Love that. I think the one place where it's slipping is the which way.
Do you know which way the?
Do you know which way versus do you know which way? So you're just trying to keep, if you find that that's tricky, again, kind of similar exercise to what we've done before, I would do a short I. It's like followed by an A sound. It's like a. Which way? Do you know which way? A, which way? A, which way? A, which way? You know, so I would practice that. Okay.
Do you know which way the nearest bank is?
Nearest bank is? That was way clearer. More resonance, more airflow coming through. I really liked it.
Do you know which way the nearest bank is?
Nearest bank is. So I know you can do short I sounds because I hear it on is.
The nearest bank is?
Mm-hmm. Which have the same sound, just to note. Which, same sound. Same exact sound.
Excuse me.
Excuse me, good.
Do you guys live around here?
Do you guys live around here? You guys live?
Excuse me. Do you guys live around here?
I like the R sound on here. If you guys are listening for R sounds, that's a great R. Use that as that's a really nice R. Lots of air coming through. Not too tense, but still present.
Do you guys live around here?
And notice that the breath continues after here. And again, just a reminder, in 13 minutes, I will have to end the stream, but I will be moving over to a premiere. So if you're trying to get breath in your speech, this is the opportunity for you. I have a video coming up in 12 minutes. And I'd love to watch it with you in the premiere. We can talk about breath and things like that. I'll be in the chat. Kind of an extension of the live stream. But yeah, we're going to be talking about breath and adding more breath, some techniques that I have not shared with you before that I think will be helpful. But yeah, focus on the which way part.
Look, go to the drawing board. Look, go to the drawing board.
Go
to the...
Go, so closed off, right? Your throat's really shut. Go versus go. Hear the difference between go and go. Go.
Go to the drawing.
Go to the. So again, if you're looking for an exercise to practice, similar to what we've done before, so I would do O. Make sure you're sounding good with that. O. My guess is that you're saying go. My guess is that if you looked at yourself in the mirror, when you say go, I have a hunch that when you say go, you're ending with round lips. Go. And so what I would say, and I could be completely wrong, that's just my guess. Okay. Regardless, though, I want you to pay attention to what I'm doing. Go. Let me make myself big. Oh, whoops, that's not. Hey, wrong one. It's this one. Here we go. Okay. So for go, notice how I'm saying that. Go. Notice how I'm saying oh. Can you do that? Look, notice my lips. Can you get your lips exactly like mine and my teeth like mine? Oh. Notice that my lower lip trembles a little bit. Oh. Slightly shuts at the end. Slightly. It's not so exact like oh. You You know, it's not doing any of those things. It's just, still staying pretty open to let enough air through my throat. Okay. So once you're able to get that comfortably with a low open placement, right? Link it with G. It's like, oh, go, oh, go. And then see if you can do it faster. Oh, go, oh, go, oh, go. Oh, go, oh, go, oh, go. Okay. And I think that would be really helpful. Okay. Because that's sounding really tight and intense. Go versus go.
Look, go to the drawing board.
To the.
Look, go to the drawing.
To the. Go to the. I have another exercise for you. This is for everybody. So if you're watching this is your challenge for today. Can you say go to the with the tip of your tongue pressed against the bottom of your mouth the entire time? Go to the drawing board. Go to the drawing board. Go to the drawing board. Can you do that? Let me know how that goes. Let me know in the chat. Are you able to do it or no? That's a tricky thing, but if you're interested in things like linking and getting things kind of flowing more from one sound to the next, that's going to be an exercise that helps a little bit. Okay.
Board. Look, go to the drawing board.
Okay. Also, just a very minor thing for the drawing board. A lot of times for that phrase, you just like go back to the drawing board, go back to the drawing board, or like go back to square one. Usually there's a back in there. But that's not to say the way you're using it is wrong. I don't know enough about the context. Yeah. Go to. You know, the only thing I'm nervous about seeing these things is I'm wondering if the duh sounds or the da sounds are too strong. Okay, make sure that middle D sound is not too strong. So it's not go da, it's more go da. Okay. Go da. If it's sounding mushy, watch out for pitches. Okay. Remember everything we're talking about pitches like go da, go da, go da. So there's like high, low, lower, high, low, lower, da da da, go da, go da, da da, go da. So I'm kind of practicing that. Just trying to practice your linking. I'm not trying to punish people. I'm not trying to give people strokes. Oh my gosh. No one goes to the hospital today. I hope. Not on account of me. I hope. Last original file.
Come
on. Ooh, that's a great question. Emmanuel, how would you describe mushy? I'll talk about that in a minute.
Come on. You make a day of it. You'll get a boat. Pack a lunch. Come on.
I was with you for come on until the very end. It's like, come on. You notice how that vowel at the very end shifts.
Come on.
Come on. Come on. Notice how it gets tighter because of that N versus just come on. Come on. Come on. So again, watch out for vowels linking with N's. The N is a horrible consonant. It just wants to completely disrupt everything you're doing. Okay.
Come on. You'll make a day of it.
You'll make a.
You'll make a day of it.
You'll make a. You say you'll make a or we'll make a. Come on, you'll make a. Oh my gosh, more files. Oh my gosh, guys, I don't know if we have time. Come on. Yo, okay. Not that one.
Look.
No, not that one. Ah!
Come on. You'll make a day of it.
You'll make a day of it.
You'll make a day of it.
You'll make a day of it. I like your stress.
You'll make a day of it. You'll get a...
make a day of it. I would have weakened it.
You'll make a day of it.
Instead of it, more of it. You'll make a day of it. Day is your stress, not the it part. So you don't need to drag it out quite as long.
Make a day of it. You'll get a boat. Pack a lunch.
You'll get a boat. Stress boat more, make that stand out more.
Make a day of it. You'll get a boat.
It's a more boat. So it's not ba, it's more boat. Needs to be a stronger O sound. Oh, boat. Oh, boat. Okay?
You'll get a boat. Pack a lunch.
Lunch has a schwa sound, so it's not lunch. It's more lunch. Pack a lunch. Pack a lunch. Okay. Those would be my... Oh, that's the last one from our original file. How do you pronounce the flap so you serve your press against the bottom of your mouth? Like little. You know, don't get attached to be like, okay, it has to sound like this. And if I don't do that sound, it's not right. I think a lot of people have expectations of how sounds are supposed to be, and that's affecting our ability to produce sounds. Little. That's the tip of my tongue pressed against the bottom of my mouth. Little. If you're expecting a very strong lid, you're not going to hear that. Okay? Just a note. You will not hear that. Promise you. Okay, so that was our original group of sounds. We are next going to take a look at
Eel, please. I think your O sounds
your
are a little bit tense. Take off the T on center.
Oh my gosh, what was that? So we have a group on Telegram, which I just want to spend just a quick second talking to you guys about. If you like what we're doing here today, but obviously we had so many files, we don't have time to get through everyone. I'm going to try to get through as many people as I can in an even faster blitz round. But yeah, so if you want pronunciation practice every single day of the week, go to patreon.com/fluentamerican, or you can join below and become a channel member on YouTube and select the option for the Telegram group where we will see your pronunciation every single day and give you feedback very similar to what we have been doing. So if you want this, what we're doing here today, every single day of the week, we can do that. We can make that happen. People, we can make it happen. But you need to join the group. Okay. Jack of all trades is still used. Yes, he's a jack of all trades. Hang on. Let's see, Justin, where are my files? We're going to do a rapid thing. Let me see.
The first thing you should worry about is getting a long-term visa that allows you to work there.
I'm just going to do that part here really quick.
The first thing you should worry about.
Can you say worry? I said worry, more worry. Worry. I like the sounds to be a little bit more.
The first thing you should worry about.
Worry about.
Is getting a long-term visa that allows.
Can you say long-term visa?
Is getting a long-term visa that allows.
Long-term visa. Long-term visa.
Is getting a long-term visa that allows.
Getting a long-term visa. I think the thing is pitch.
Is getting a long-term visa that.
The first thing you should worry about is getting a long-term visa versus getting a long-term visa. I would raise the pitch on visa because right now everything's kind of blending together. There's not enough contrast, So even if you're pronouncing things great, if the pitches aren't enough, it's all going to blend together for your listener, which can lead to some, it's more work for your listener to try to understand.
The first thing you should worry about.
Because that part there has a lot of intonate, like a lot of pitch and things like that. Good contrast.
Is getting a long-term visa that allows you to work there.
The first thing you should worry about is getting a long-term visa that allows you to work there. I would have personally, if I were doing that phrase, I would have put more emphasis on work. Okay.
The first thing you should worry about is getting a long-term visa that allows you to work there.
That allows you to work there. Because everything's just kind of stays more flat. So my challenge for you would be, again, I would shadow. I would pay attention to pitch because I'm hearing breath. In general, I'm hearing enough breath, but I would like you to expand your range because I think your pitch range is a little bit closed off. Okay. So I would definitely see if you can expand that really quick. So this one really quick.
I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
Not wrong the way this is. I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
Hear you. I personally probably would stress here. I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
It's I can't hear you. Or I can't hear you. Sorry, I can't hear you. Can't hear you. There's nothing wrong with stressing can't, but I think a lot of times with modal verbs, the base verb is the part that gets stressed. Just a note. I'm taking some risks here, guys. I've not had a chance to vet these.
I can't believe you still use an iPhone 6. That's ancient. Excuse me. Do you guys?
Just real quick. Excuse me. Watch out for the E. It's not excuse me. Excuse me.
iPhone 6. That's ancient.
Ancient. We talked earlier about ancient. I would listen to earlier in the stream where we talked more about that because I think very similar things apply here.
Excuse me. Do you guys live around here? Around here? Excuse me. Do you guys live around here?
Do you guys live around here? A little bit choppy, so I would try to also look into linking. I have a video that talks about linking that I would take a look at. It's recent. Do you guys live around here? Notice that rhythm. I would practice that phrase. Do you guys live around here? Do you guys live around here? Live around. Notice that V is attaching to the A on around. Okay. Yeah, so I would take a quick look at that. I'm sorry it's so fast. Just trying to squeeze in as many people as I can.
Somebody help! I need an ambulance! Please. Somebody! What happened?
All right, I'm going to end this. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I know there were other questions and things like that, but I do hope that this was able to give you some insights into things that you found helpful for your own pronunciation and things like that. Thank you for spending part of your Saturday with me. I really appreciate it. Now, if you guys want to help me out, I'm going to end the stream in a moment. It's going to transfer us to the premiere for the next video I have that's all about breath. I would love to see you in that chat. We could talk a little bit more. But if it's time, and I totally understand that, that's cool. I will see you next week. But I'm going to end things here, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much for your time today. Have a good day. Have a good night. Good afternoon. Take care, everybody. Bye.